everybody came from a bad situation before they got to that party. Everybody hopped the train. Everybody saw something go down. But that party was a release and a freedom for everybody to come to. That's why the first thing we said was, clap your hands, everybody. Number one, you came out of where you came from to come to the party, and you must celebrate being together.
Welcome to the podcast from Doug Ground Up Productions with hosts Lady Miz and Ray. This is a universal platform, and there is nothing off limits. We talk about it all, and we keep it real. This is a no judgment zone, so come as you are. If you are a professional, entertainer, author, comedian, entrepreneur, or just someone who wants to get something off their chest, well, let your voice be heard here on From the Ground Up Productions. Sponsorship and other opportunities are available from the Ground Up Productions. Turning nothing into something. There's only one way to go from here. And now, here are your hosts, Lady Miz and Ray.
What's up? Y'all know what it is. This is Lady Miz from the Ground Up Productions, and there's only one way to go from here. Listen, y'all know VVC's in the building, but guess what? VVC don't never come alone now. She don't never come alone. She brought her family with her, and her dad and his crew been in the game. Been signed, been had songs out. You could catch their joints on the internet, MTV. You could find them because they was there and they here now. We talking to Rockin' G and DJ Shawn.
Y'all better clap.
What's good? Y'all give it up. All right. Listen. And he was sleeping. He said, "You gonna mess it up." No, but listen. It is a pleasure to have y'all here, especially all together here. I think that's so dope. I want y'all, y'all gotta tell people and let us know about the history of your group.
Okay, well, before we do that, let's identify who's who here.
Yes.
Yes, sir. My name is Rock, a.k.a. Reggie Pasley.
I'm the G of Rockin' G, and that AK is just G.
Okay. That's it, just the G.
Yeah, because
okay.
Tax.
I hear that.
Some of us have some priors. And I'm Shawn Cheatham, a.k.a. DJ Shawn of Rockin' G and DJ Shawn.
All right. So how I feel being all together here?
Well, don't let them fool you. Look, it's a great feeling, if I can speak to it. Yeah, it's a great feeling because, again, when a G, he's coming from Indiana, and, he owns a radio station and everything, and,
nice.
he's making bigger moves now, which having him relocate. So he had us on his radar to visit.
Oh.
And stuff. So he called and let me know and some others know that he was going to be in town. And he made it clear what week he was going to be here. He didn't say what day, but he made it clear what he was going to be here. And I made sure I planned nothing this week knowing he was coming and stuff. And then we know when he comes to town, everyone comes out. And that's how Rock came out, because once we got the word that he was in town, you know the rest of the story. But yes, although they went, it's a good,
Okay. Yeah, okay, all right. So I want to know about the history. Tell me a little bit about the group and how y'all all came together, how all of it came together and coming out.
Well, I'm going to start it off and then let them go. They were existing long before I came aboard.
Okay.
And stuff, okay? So they had about 3 records, I think, before I came aboard and stuff under the Rockin' G brand and things. So I'll let them tell it.
All right.
Yeah, we was in high school together, and we formulated a group, and the group was called TL Boys.
Yeah. TL Boys.
And
that was it.
Yeah.
Wasn't Big Bub part of that too?
No. Big Bub wasn't. He was in another rival group back in Inglewood, New Jersey. We grew up in Inglewood, New Jersey, and a lot of people don't realize Inglewood, New Jersey is one of the first areas of hip hop that really put hip hop on the map.
Okay.
Sugar Hill Gang, Sugar Hill Records.
Okay.
Treacherous 3, Grandmaster. They used to walk around Palisade Avenue and
Sequence.
yes, and just
Angie Stone.
yes. So
Oh wow.
and we used to work at this place called Blimpie's. It was a sub shop, so we used to like deliver sandwiches to the studio, and we used to hear them record and hear music come out before anybody used to hear it, and that was gave us the foundation and the seed to start doing our own thing. So we started. We was from the root of hip hop.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I can go on, and then one day I saw this guy riding down with his bike on my street, and G, and we just became fast friends. And he was rapping, and he knew I was rapping, and that's when we formulated our group. And then in high school, I think our senior year, we had our first record out on an independent label. Yeah, it's called She's My Baby.
Direct records, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Back then, it wasn't no digital, nothing.
Yeah. And then we recorded another EP, Mellow.
No, Mellow was third.
No, we did the Freddie Krueger.
Freddie Krueger was after
She's
that.
My Baby.
They're talking to him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's cool.
Yeah. So listen, it's been what 30-something years. So it's been a long time. So I'm trying to get it all back. This is a spur of the moment interview. So
Yes.
wasn't prepared, but yeah, that's how it was. And then after that, we ran into Shawn and came out with the Swing Beat situation.
Okay. All right.
Well, I would say this. So as Reggie said, we had a record called "She's My Baby"
Okay.
that we wrote, and we actually got signed by. We did a show, I think, at the Rink or some like our local club, and our DJ Jazzy Lamel, he introduced us to the guys that signed us to this independent label, Jersey City, and we did the record called "She's My Baby." I think we wrote it for somebody else. I think somebody else wanted it, but they liked it. And then on that same label, a different label, but the same people, we actually did the record for the Freddy Krueger after the Freddy Krueger movie, and it's called The Freddy Krueger.
Wow. Okay.
Plays to this day every Halloween on every major city radio station, especially in Europe. So it's been almost how much? It's 87. Is that 40 years? It's close to it. So.
No, it's still 30-something.
And then after that, we actually did an independent project.
We're dating ourselves.
Called Mellow, and then when we after the Mellow project, the independent project we did with some guys, we ran into Shawn because we actually we was a unit at that time. We had history, we had a resume, and so when we got Shawn wasn't. I think we all experienced the Polygram Mercury thing together.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because we just, after those records died out and weren't playing on the radio anymore, we felt the pressure to come back out and do something real. And we was one of the first people, like y'all talk about independent artists now, using their own money to record. And they thought like it's a new thing. Well, in 1988, we all took out a loan for $5,000 without no promises of getting no deals or nothing. We just wanted to record in the best studio that we knew. And we went to Quad, we went to Power Play, but the best studio that we could retain was in our town. It was called Hillside Studio. And the owner and the son was an engineer. Father and son situation. The father was Tony Bennett.
Okay.
Yeah, if you ever look at Goodfellas movies, you hear Tony Bennett's music in it. I Left My Heart in San Francisco. So that was his house, and he had a studio built inside of it. And that's where we recorded. And the birth of New Jack City came out of that studio.
Oh, okay.
So,
Put it out there,
Redhead Kingpin, today, Salt and Pepper, Rob Bass, Nice and Smooth.
But we
Dope.
went back to the three groups that they proudly on. They hit at the time when we were recording, it was us that they held Kingpin stuff up on.
Redhead Kingpin, and Today.
Okay.
Today was on Motown. Redhead Kingpin was on Version, and we were on Polygram.
Now, talk to me about your label. Did you guys like being signed to the label? What was your experience like?
Oh, Lord. Okay. I get the answer to that, huh? All right. First, let's tell back real quick, and I'm going to answer your question real quick.
Yep.
How we really met, because they didn't tell you how that.
Oh, they left that out?
Here, the Rockin' G experience started, or at least with the DJ Shawn part of things, because we played minor league baseball together. Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember that. Yeah. That's how we met. We played minor league baseball. We literally played minor league baseball, and
we athletes too. Well, that's how we really forged the bond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we played farm. Yeah, we played farm baseball for the major league. So when we was playing in that, that's how we met, and that's how that whole thing started. And where we had a conversation like, we rap. And I was doing the DJing thing, and I was still kind of new at it. And we like, okay, let's make this work. And that's how, the evolution of the DJ Shawn come into play.
Nice.
Common bond beyond music. And that's mostly what hip hop is. You're going to find a common ground. You're going to find a common bond other than music to bring you together. Mm-hmm. And then music's just going to finish it off to connect all the pieces. But yeah, we come up from the trenches, man, and we ain't got the story that most hip hop artists have. Even though Reggie's from Jamaica, Shawn got roots in Brooklyn, and I'm originally, before I moved to Jersey, from the Bronx. Our families went through heck and all that. They went through it, but
Jamaica or Jamaica Queens.
No, Jamaica.
Oh, the island. Okay. I got to figure it out. Right, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm trying to figure it out.
So our parents went through all that hard stuff, fighting through whatever and to get to go to school and buy homes and all that.
Right.
But, by the time we got together, we did hip hop for love. We liked to party. We played ball. We liked girls. We like to party. Did I say that already?
Yep. You said it. You must have really liked the party because you said it twice.
So we didn't have that burden of being the baddest dudes on the block and all that.
Right.
We rapped about our environment. Our environment was loving, supportive, partying, togetherness, community. That was our advice. So we wrote our songs based on that.
I got to say something to that real quick. It's funny that you say that. We talk about today's time and the music has changed, right? The message has changed in the music. You said we rapped about our environment. Right. And when you mention your environment, you mention love. You mention a lot of positive things. When we talk about the kids today and the message that's in the music today, they're doing the same thing, but their environment is not that great. So what do you say? I want to know what you think about that. What do you say to that?
Well, again,
because we judge
Reggie
them.
just spoke to real quick that we and G spoke to that we rapped about and we did what we knew and stuff. We didn't do like how Ja Rule was accused of rapping on stuff he didn't know about. He talked about how hard the knocks the streets and he grew up in the suburbs. And,
oh, damn, you got shots fired at Ja Rule right now.
Duck Ja Rule, duck. I'm coming for you.
We don't care.
If that gonna put us on a map, let's call him out.
Oh my God! Listen, leave him alone. 50 Cent is on him enough. Leave Ja Rule alone.
But again, and much shout outs to the Juke Posse. What's up, folks? And stuff. Yeah, that's what we were. We weren't gangs. We were posses. Yeah. We didn't know how to steal. Although, some of us may know how to, but that's not how we lived.
He said, hold up, pump the brakes. I took a few things.
But ask him, did he get arrested for that stuff?
Right.
Now, you asked about the environment situation, okay? And John, Shawn, and I, we had a 2-parent home we grew up in. Mom and dad, we lived in the suburbs. So that's like they said, we rapped about what we knew. Mm-hmm. Maybe it didn't go over well with some people, but it's what we knew.
Right.
Now, what these kids are rapping about now, I love the music, but the lyrics, but you can call me old and old-fashioned, but I think the lyrics right now is a little detriment to the kids and how they're living, with the rapping about, seeing my ops and taking them out and, turning this chick out and, so
I agree.
It's a turnoff to me. I'm a father.
It is.
I'm a grandfather, and my kids, they listen to it, but I've been married for 25 years. And
Give it up for him, y'all. Listen, because they think that our people don't have long.
Yeah. 25 years. Hear about that.
Oh my God! Hey, don't be saying that. I'm trying to big up black love. We bigging up black love, okay?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So,
I know.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, my parents gave that to me, so that was my goal to give to my children and my grandkids now. But I think that rap music has made a turn. Thanks for CC, where she's bringing back more positive stuff, and that's why I'm riding with her. On her type of music because, she's rapping about, positive and inspirational stuff and, partying again and, making that.
Making it fun.
Yeah, making it fun.
Yes.
But you know what I think these kids don't realize? I'm going to tell you what they don't realize. This is what they don't realize. The hardest groups that came out when we were out were groups that were bands. They were darn near like bands. Like these cats toured without record deals. Cold Crush. And Fantastic Five, and you could look all these groups up. No, but you know what? They went to the club. Like you look at the movie Wild Style. There's a group on there called Double Trouble. Okay, now these cats, they came to the party with a blazer on, a hat matching ties, looking like businessmen. When they rocked the party, that's how they looked. People came out for that. But when they got home, they had to jump over broken glass, dead bodies. Urine in the hallway. They went home to that after that party. The escape was the rapping, the show. I'm going to talk about something totally different. I'm going to take myself out of my situation mentally on stage. You didn't hear about somebody's bad day or what they had to go through or a grandmother was throwing stuff. You didn't hear that in hip-hop. First of all, it didn't sell back then because hip-hop was based on, when we came out, one hit at a time. If there was one record that didn't do well, hip-hop would have been dead. Nobody would have invested in it again. Sugar Hill didn't make a certain kind of wave. No other groups would have came out after Sugar Hill.
That's deep that you say that. Let me just say this really quickly because now it's like what I was going to say, and then you said what you just said. I was going to say that love is missing in the music today because it's missing in the homes and in the community, right? Then you just said, well, they went out, businessmen, they talked about something, and then they came back home to something else. So now, that got me thinking. I'm ready to do a whole panel on this type of conversation in the future because I believe we, like I said, it's what we are around. And for me, hip hop was, I could relate to this. And it also was a way for me to escape from things that was making me feel not so happy, right?
This culture, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
If you look at any old hip hop stuff on YouTube or for anybody and listen, the first thing we did was clap your hands, everybody. That's the
everybody
universe.
Clap your hands. That's right.
What does that do? You bringing your hands together. You bringing people together. Everybody came from a bad situation before they got to that party. Everybody hopped the train. Everybody saw something go down. But that party was a release and a freedom for everybody to come to. That's why the first thing we said was clap your hands, everybody. Number one, you came out of where you came from to come to the party, and you must celebrate being together. Period.
You know what? No. I want to say, you just kind of opened my eyes to something, and what it makes me think is, do not make an excuse for your environment to be the way that you are. I like that.
Well, I want to add this before I forget this thought.
Sure.
Okay, because we are forgetting one part of hip hop that took a hit starting in 1991. That's why groups like ours didn't survive so long. It's not because people started not liking our music. It was starting to be steered by the system. Okay, meaning being by in 91, they had this big they had this big meeting in California. Because hip hop was supposed to only last but so long. It was even at the time rumored to die like disco did. Okay, hip hop was not supposed to last this long. At least not in the form we know it.
Okay.
So if hip hop wasn't supposed to last this long, people never asked the question, what happened? Well, there was this big meeting in Silicon Valley in '91 with all the conglomerates of the business, the big VPs and whoever else were invited to this meeting. They were signing off on waivers so they wouldn't dispel what's in this meeting. But a whistleblower told it because he didn't sign off and he stayed to hear the meeting. Really? And because he feared his life, he told the story of what happened in that meeting. At that time, they were just privatizing the prisons. So to privatize these prisons, you have to what? Fill these prisons. And they were trying to figure out how to fill these prisons. And then what they did is that, hey, the kids are listening to this music.
This hip hop.
The kids are listening to this hip hop.
So they changed it from hip hop to
rap. Right.
Talking.
And then from rap to gangster rap. And so that's when you saw the evolution of NWA get stronger, because they the ones that was rapping about F the police. They were the ones that was talking about, stuff, even if they lived it or didn't live it, they were talking the stuff that the kids were listening to and landed themselves in those situations.
Yes.
So you say, hey, I had a big gang. Guess what? I got to get me a big gang. Oh, I got these many guns. I better get me this many guns. All the illegal stuff that landed you where? Incarcerated.
Right.
And putting you into those situations. And that's how they were able to fill these prisons with a whole bunch of young people through the music. And
they still doing that, okay? Like when you look at everything that's going on now, I could tell you some crazy stories, but at the end of the day, you got to remember, people invest in those prisons, and that's their stock. Mm-hmm. So we and us, the people, we are their stock. Right. To put us in there to get free labor, because that's where slavery is legal. You know what I mean? So that's a good point.
And then you also spoke to something in VVC's interview, which was interesting. I wish I could have jumped in and said something, but I'm respecting her space on that. But it's what you signed. You heard us stream that over there, right?
Yes.
We signed a contract under duress. Okay, we did. We signed to get to Polygram. We had to sign conditions we normally wouldn't have signed, and so because we just knew that there was a major label, to find out because Polygram was the #1 label in those days.
Production deal.
Right.
Okay.
So for us to get to the label that they had for us, we had to sign away some things that we normally wouldn't have signed. And then we even didn't know that there was some backdoor partnerships going on between our lawyer, who we thought was in our favor.
What?
With the production company of things.
Corruption.
The back on. So that's how yeah.
Yes.
I say this because we are examples of that. We lived it. When I was one of the first released from the contract. That's how I started finding out stuff. And I started partnering up because I started being more of a backup DJ with Cool DJ Ray Alert on Kiss FM back in those days. So I got to sit down with him a lot, and he would tell me stuff about that person. I don't want to give his name, but he started telling about that person who we had signed that contract with.
Wow.
And say his name? Okay, well he called himself Winston Collection. His real name was Winston Sanders. They say and at the time, and even at that time, he was making so much money off of our brand because he had the other brands, but we were his top brand at the time. He was also responsible for Salt and Pepper, and even he started.
He worked with Biz. He worked with Biz.
Biz
right?
too.
Did he work with Biz?
Yeah.
No. Who else did he jerk?
I thought it was KRS. I thought it was KRS-One too.
I know.
And stuff.
Was trying to sign with him, and then he didn't.
There's a group still looking for him now to put him in his gravesite.
Dang.
And stuff, They're
so
it's just for him.
I think it's so sad because you go to a lawyer. Yeah, you right? you expect your lawyer to protect you.
Guys used to run up in the studio and beat up a lot of A&R people, man.
Well, I didn't say we. All right, we used to pull them out the office.
What you say it in my.
We pull you out the office.
But guess what? They were making us gangsters for what they did to us.
Yeah,
we weren't gangsters.
He said we was the good rappers till they messed up.
Every time you did a show, you couldn't recoup Because every time, like they said, we sent the cassette out on your behalf. That cassette cost us about $1,000, and you can get it from the dollar store. You know what I mean?
Right,
so
right.
Doing stuff like that. So you was looking at the accounting and say, "What's this 1,000 for? What's this for? This for?" And we couldn't do it. We'll be here all day. So let me slow down. But I will say this: there was times when we were doing shows where we laughed so hard we had to give the $15 to our dancers.
Oh, $15 to your dancers.
Because that was all left after we did the big shows. And then all of a sudden, after we did the show, it would be $15 left. We would look at each other and start laughing.
Oh, no.
And we would just give it to our dancers because, we got to give them something. We
right.
would out with nothing. And then they will send limousine rides and it'll be a station wagon. So,
the game is just messed up, ain't it?
And then if we did have a limousine, it would be at a spot where we had to duck and hide behind Bismarck from being shot.
Oh my God! So y'all I'm enjoying this conversation. I would love to have y'all back. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, how far where you at?
Well, he's moving to Atlanta.
He's moving to Atlanta.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm building a radio station in Fayetteville, Georgia, and that's 100.9 The Blaze.
Okay, all right. Now I love that. Do that plug, baby.
Sponsored by Delta Cannabis Water.
Okay. Now Delta Cannabis Water, y'all holler at From the Ground Up too. We need y'all as a sponsor.
But I plan to make several trips because now I have more freedom to do what I got to do.
Okay.
I started a station in Kokomo, Indiana, their first hip hop station there. I licensed it. It's been up for 13 years.
Okay.
And I just leased it to my church now, so the format will change from hip hop all day and R&B to just jazz and gospel music.
Beautiful.
And we're putting the hip hop effort on our station in Georgia. So WTSX, we're on Apple Music. We have our own apps. You go to Power 104.9. You can find us, but the Blaze will have the same thing. And you know what? I play our records. That's how I keep our thing alive.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why ownership and creating stuff is important.
Like her records, VVC, GM, I break all their records. If I can play, I was recently on a Mary J. Blige remix. Shout out to Smooth B. Recently.
Okay.
And if I can play that stuff, I can play our children's stuff.
There you go. We need people like you. Okay? We need people like you.
He's not saying he's not just saying it. I was just with him when he had Breeze programmed twice for tonight.
Really?
Yeah, I got my studio.
I love that. I love it.
So
now, is this a licensed radio station? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Doing the damn thing. Okay, I'm definitely gonna look you. I'm gonna look you up and send you my music. Yeah, I gotta get played too. Yes.
Apple.
Oh, okay. The whole 9 yards. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, I like that. I love that. Okay.
That's the new Rocket G right there. Owning radio stations.
There you go.
That's what we do.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
I love it.
But, ladies and gentlemen, we will be out on legend tours. We will be doing lectures at colleges. So if you have a college you want to know about our journey in hip hop in depth, you know what I mean? Contact Shawn or myself on social media, Rock on social media, and we'll leave it with you. You know what I'm saying? You could look me up at my name, John Grant on Facebook. It's very easy. Yeah.
He gave his government.
Okay. We're going to be looking you up.
You know what I mean? So. Nah. or you can go to the Uncle Boogie page on Instagram or Power 104.9 WTSX. And you check us out. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Your closing words. If we're going to give y'all closing words next.
I need time to think.
Okay.
So you're going to put me on the spot, right? Well, the only thing I want to say is I'm glad that we had a brick in the building of hip-hop. Because when we started hip-hop, everyone was like, we used to work for these Italian guys. They were like, that's Jungle Bunny music, that'll never last, and Frank Sinatra, and that's good music, and back then you had like Bon Jovi, the hair bands, and that's good music. And this
Travolta.
You gonna let me talk, brother? I'll let them talk, right?
He said, I got the mic now, man.
But I'm gonna let you finish, bro. But I'm just saying, hip hop is important to black culture.
Yes.
we just received a citation from the federal government for one of the founding groups of hip hop, and New Jersey also, the New Jersey Senate gave us a citation as well.
Oh, beautiful. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, give it up for him, my studio audience over there.
You can look us Yeah, that's what I said. The federal government and New Jersey.
You know y'all getting in the booth after this interview.
Oh, no.
We gotta go.
Don't be tapping
I
our
have not
alley.
picked up a mic in
We
30-something years.
can't get a couple of bars, just a little bit.
We go to a couple of bars.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you what though. I will rehearse and I will come back and I will do something.
Okay. Well, you still
Because
gonna
this
sign
is-
the door?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, y'all
We'll
still
sign-
got to sign the door that y'all was here for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But definitely,
But
yes, I would like y'all to come back.
Okay, so my closing remarks is hip hop is our music, and let's keep it that way.
Amen.
You
Yes.
understand? We lost jazz, we lost rock and roll. We started all that.
Let them
You know
know.
what I'm saying? I mean, and rock music, absolutely. You know,
Yes.
let's hold on to this. All right, and then on top of that, number one, it's the number one genre in the world, hip hop music.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we went from Jungle Bunny music to number one music. So that shows the power of creativity in the black community.
Can't nobody hold
You know what I'm
us
saying?
down.
So
Oh no.
that's all I'm saying to the upcoming generations. The upcoming generation, let's keep this going.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes, I love that message. Yes.
Yes, oh man. Closing remarks from the Rock and G things are, this can be a long hour. But for the most part, I'm going to tell a quick story. It'll be short. I was sitting on a symposium with Kevy Kev, Red Alert.
Shout out to those.
Yo, I was just about to go there. I was just about to go to that. Teddy Ted, Special K, Awesome 2. Oh my God, LaMel, Q. Oh my God, Mello. Oh man, I know we're gonna miss somebody. All this, but Demo Wet. All you guys. Cup Master DC. Yes, Brooklyn Fresh. Yo, I'm gonna tell you something. We were like the unsaid or the quiet soldiers of the game because no one ever brought a mic to us like how you just did. Okay? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people in this game, that has not been blessed with a mic. And it was always the A-listers that, I used to always joke and call us the side B. You know what I'm saying? Or the B side. And stuff. We was always the B side because you had to flip the record to see us.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But we was always on the A side. And no one ever brought the mic to us. And to my point, what I was going to say, Red Alert said this to me in the middle of a symposium that I thought I was just a guest on, not knowing I was a key speaker and stuff. I didn't even know. This happened at Fairleigh Dickinson about maybe 10, 15 years ago. And I was on that stage sitting next to Red, thinking I was supporting, not knowing I was going to be key in some way. And he said to me this, and I don't think I ever shared this with y'all. I said, I don't think I deserve to be here. You guys are the kings of this game, although we made our mark, but I felt like I was sitting with the kings. And he said, he said, no, we look up to you. I'm like, what? And this is after they all embraced me when I was explaining that the art of DJing was keeping the needle on the record. When we started comparing the DJing styles of then to now, where everything's digital, and anybody can be a digital because everyone can punch a button. But the art of DJing those days was you had to worry about the record didn't skip on you and stuff like that, and whatever skill you had with doing that. He said, I looked up to y'all. And why? And this is where I leave my message. In those days, the art of being successful in hip hop was making it to the majors. And the whole time, the ones we were looking up to was looking up to us because we were on Polygram.
Wow. Look at that.
It was like, how the hell y'all do that?
Wow.
They were looking up to us on Right. So when you had groups that was on Polygram, and at that time, the only people, because hip hop, the majors didn't touch hip hop. They did.
Right.
Curtis Blow was on.
Def Jam was an independent label.
Really?
Def Jam was an independent label when we was out. Tommy Boy was an independent label.
Jive
was an independent label.
Select.
Okay.
Select, Fresh Rec, they were all that got distribution.
Def Jam was too. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you talk about Atlantic Records, Epic Records, when you talk RCA, Columbia,
Philadelphia International,
because Polygram, Mercury record label is
and Polydor and all that. Yeah.
And Polydor, that's James Brown, that's the Rolling Stones, that's who we were with.
Okay.
You know, and Eddie Murphy's brother, remember Vern? Yeah, Vern was like K9.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, at the time you could only count with one hand. Oh, I'm sorry, but in closing, in those days, you can count on one hand how many rap groups was on the majors and stuff, and that only really happened, especially when you're talking about the East Coast side of things, is because the independents had all New York City tapped out already.
Okay.
So they started coming to New Jersey. So the majors said, okay, since we can't find our artists in New York City, they came over to Jersey, and that's how most of us got snatched up.
Okay. Well, listen, shout out to y'all and also for still, going strong and doing what y'all do. I think that's important. Keeping it alive, also educating people on hip hop and what it stands for, what it means, and no excuses, right? For none of the stuff in the music. I think that's dope. Big shout out to DJ Red Alert. You know what I mean? For also acknowledging the fact that he's seen you, right? I think that's important. Sometimes people everybody's doing their own thing, but you got to let somebody know, nah, I see you, brother. You doing the damn thing. We looking up to you, So shout out to y'all. And look, y'all planning on doing something?
No.
Y'all planning on giving one coming back the group and putting one single out.
So the last award that they weren't a part of that I received on behalf of the group, we got the Legacy Award from the Hip Hop Hall of Fame.
Oh,
Museum.
Nice. That's good, y'all. Congratulations.
So partially I got invited because of radio, but if I didn't have history in my group, it's a Hip Hop Legacy Award. I'm just a radio guy after that. You know what I mean? So it had to be from Rockin' G and DJ Shawn, our history. So that's really the last thing that we got acknowledged for. So we in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame.
Oh, beautiful. And congratulations on that. Yes, that's dope. That's dope. Yes.
One more thing. I don't know if this is part of history, but Yo MTV Raps, the first year that it was on, we were one of the one of the first groups to be played on MTV for Yo MTV Raps.
Oh, wow.
Yes, the first year that it came on to MTV. So,
okay.
That's a little history thing on Rockin' G.
Yes. All right.
Let's help you find us. Rockin' G, ROCK, the letter N, space, the letter N, space, GEE, and you can just do that. It'll come up, but look for and DJ Shawn as well, and look for Swing Beat. That's the song just Google it. Because if you do Swing Beat, you might get a whole lot of rodeo type stuff. But but if you put in Rockin' G, at least in short, it'll give you all the hits on the Rockin' G stuff. And when you find the DJ Shawn stuff in there, you'll find Swing Beat. That was the hit that brought us over the hump of the back, as they call it, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. All right.
So that's how you find us in the game.
Time for a new sensation. Or should I say a new rendition? We keep you smiling, going wildin'. Everybody's happy like a healthy little child. Everything else is obsolete. So move your feet to the sounds of the swing. Come on, y'all.
Here we go again. Here we go again. Here we go again. Here we go again.
Dance to the swing beat.
Here we go again. Here we go again. Here we go again. Here we go again.
Listen up, here we go on a mission. I'm not dissing or reminiscing on the old times with a new rhyme. To those who feel they're inclined, sounds that'll fill your ear. The treble or bass, but it sounds clear. Not too far or close, but near. Yo, you know what I'm saying, B? It's the swing beat.
Here we go again. Here we go again. Here we go again. Here we go.
Oh, I better say this because I wanted to say this. I almost forgot. I'm feeling what y'all doing here, and I think we should.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, from the ground up. Yo, we was talking sidebar, and we for real. We feeling what you're doing here.
Thank
Much success,
you so
and where
much.
we can help, just please let us know.
Absolutely. Now, listen, I appreciate that. Me and my husband, we were.
All right.
Yes. Well, listen, I thank y'all so much for that, and definitely whatever help you can help with, we appreciate those who appreciate us and see us too. You know what I mean? Because we love what we do, and we want to keep the culture alive and keep it going. So that's what we all here for. So I appreciate y'all, and thank y'all so much for coming on and sharing your story with us, giving us the history of your group and everything that y'all have done for the culture, because you are a part of that, and we appreciate y'all for that. We standing on y'all backs. You know what I mean? So thank you for that. So listen, we gonna shut it down. Because listen, y'all know how I go. He'll be passing the mic back to him, and I see it happening. But listen, y'all, we appreciate y'all. Thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, okay? I'm Lady Miz. I spell lady with an I, okay? And from we spell it the Ebonics way, so it's D-A, from the ground up, baby. There's only one way to go from here, and we out. Peace. All right, yes.
Bass and Shattered.
DJ Shawn, Sonic, the Boom.
Check it out.
You already know what it is. Let's get it.
Enough. Just keep
The Creative
backs.
Box. The Creative
Yo, welcome to the box where the real ones talk. FD Janelle P, where creators walk the walk. Step in the booth, let your soul unlock. No cap, just facts, let the cameras watch. Mic check, DJs, rappers, singers, and more. Sign the door like legends who came before. No judgment here, we respect your grind.
We hope you enjoyed your time with From the Ground Up Productions. We'll see you next time. Be sure to add our channel and listen to us on all streaming platforms. From the ground up. From the ground up. There's only one way to go from here.